This is the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri on Pulse 95.
Salam and welcome back to the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri. I am your host, covering everything sport, international, local. Hope you're having a blessed day wherever you're tuned in around the world, whether it's 95 FM, pulse95radio.com, or even if you're checking us out on YouTube live on Pulse 95 Radio. Hope you're having a great day. What a show we have in store for you today. Now, football fans, this is the time where you're going to be getting a lot of love today, because it's not every day the champions get humbled. One of the biggest clubs in England get humbled. And we are at a state now where we've got to talk about how this went wrong. So all the Manchester United fans, all the Liverpool fans, this isn't going to be a show to hate on your team. It's going to be a show to try and identify where this went wrong. So that's going to happen in the first couple of segments. I've also got, in the health and fitness segments, I have got one of the things, especially nowadays, that we're looking at quite a bit is the immune system. And on the immune system factor with COVID-19 and all the symptoms that are coming out of it, it's important we keep that up. Do you have any remedies to share with me? 4215 Itasalat or slide into my DMs at Omar Al-Duri on Pulse 95 Radio and let me know, because a lot of people out there want to know, and we're only going to know that through you. And I might even throw one or two things in there as well for you, just so you can stay on your toes. That's happening. And on the fourth segment, we are going to be talking about your questions, your answers. World Mental Health Day is coming up this Saturday. I'm going to have a special guest for that, and I have a lot of things planned for you guys. So make sure you stay tuned on the only place to be at 3, the Halftime Show on Pulse 95.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri on Pulse 95.
It sure is that time. It's the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri. I am your host, covering everything sport, international, local. Shout out to my boy Ray in the studio, showing love as always, looking after me. Thank you very much, Ray. Okay, so guys, we've got a couple of things we want to cover. The first segment is the segment a lot of you guys look forward to, and that is the health and fitness segment. Now, with everything that's going on at the moment, currently with COVID-19, a lot of people are having to isolate. And in terms of isolation, they have to try and get their immune system back on track. Now, in that, it's very, very important that we kind of figure out what kind of remedies are going to help boost the immune system. Now, a lot of people say there's no such thing as boosting the immune system, but there is something to keep the immune system up high. So today we are talking a lot about that. I got to give a couple of special shout outs as well to everyone who's tuning on the Instagram Live. Who have we got here? We've got Maria, we've got Nadine, my two cherubs, Zulfi, Prabir, one of my old academy students, Hassan, Spicy, Pamela, Kareen as well. Wowzers, a lot of good people. Donsa, the official Donsa from the Ghana World Cup squad as well. My boy, who's just transferred now from Serie A as well. Nargiza as well. Mario, Fahad. Oh man, Tariq Tumtum is coming for some football talk. Don't worry, you'll get that very, very soon. And Fahad is listening to us doing his cardio, which is great. Now we're promoting health and fitness. Now on the first segment, we're going to talk about health and fitness. On the second segment, we're going to talk about the huge results that happened yesterday in the Premier League. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Right, with what's happening at the moment now, a lot of people are having to isolate themselves, and rightfully so. So what is it that you recommend as a remedy for all those people out there now who've had themselves, isolate and had to kind of respect and also, social distance and everything? Because, we are in unprecedented times. We don't like to harp on too much about the negative side. So let's talk about the positive side. What's helped you recover? I know I had a boxing coach, John from Glove Up, Tiftik as well, who recovered successfully and is fine now, and he has a beautiful family. And he was talking to us about how mentally it was very challenging, especially for someone who's been in the industry. And those are the people I kind of turn to and ask how the experience was. Amongst those things, there's certain things that obviously in terms of foods that you're going to have to be careful with. Now, a lot of people say eat a lot or eat a lot of all sorts of food to get your taste back, your senses back, your smell back. And to some extent it's true, but it's also bearing in mind that you need to kind of have the right balance. And one of the things that, we do a lot at home is a remedy that we put together, which is all natural, of course. And it's raw blended ginger, grinded up in the blender. Then we've got lemon, so fresh lemon, manuka honey, cayenne pepper. And if you really want to go all out, then turmeric. And all these things are very good for also, keeping the gut nice and clean and trying to to get your senses back. So that's one of the things I recommend. But if you have a recommendation, shoot us on 4215 Itasalat or do send me a message. Tell me what you recommend as a natural remedy to be able to help boost your immune system, lift your system up, get your senses back. We've got a lot of people here and some dear people as well, to the family, to friends, to people that we might know that have had to go through the isolation phase. And through going through that, they've had to, experience a lot of things mentally. And as my old boxing coach, John, was talking about, he said that it's not just a responsibility that you have to carry on your shoulders for yourself, it's also for your family. And he had a newborn at the time. But it is something that we can fight, it is something that we can battle, and it's something that we'll get through. And this is why, when it comes down to the element of your immune system, when it comes down to trying to find a positive out of a lot of the things that appear to be negative out there, all the information that we're hearing, all the things of, lockdown, everything, try to find something that will strike that right balance. Spend more time working on yourself. Spend more time being able to do things that help you mentally, physically, emotionally. All these things we speak about on the Halftime Show. My dear friend Benoit as well, you might know him as the Iceman. If you checked out our shows on the Pulse 95 Radio Halftime Show YouTube, he's someone that I turn to sometimes for therapy. And amongst that therapy, it comes down to being able to channel, control, breathe, digest, relax through high pressure times. And hence why, and yes, he's put the 5-6 dots, the ice bath that you might have seen on my Instagram recently, it's helped me a lot. He's helped me a lot. And it's also just trying to enter a new channel and being able to regulate and manage your thoughts without being distracted or influenced from the outside, which again could come from work, could come from family, could come from the pressures that we face. Anxiety can always creep in, and that's why we have to reset every single day. And it's something that, again, Terry as well, she says, I use the exact same combo, ginger, turmeric, lemon for the win. Brilliant. And having all those things to help you. This is why we're here on the Halftime Show. Please do share with us. What do you use? What are your remedies? What's worked for you? Because it could work for other people as well. And some people sometimes would like to know more about. We got Davis as well here saying, yeah, the same mix of turmeric, ginger, and lemon. Excellent mix. Very, very good. The turmeric is kind of a game changer as well. I feel that if you're looking for honey as well, Manuka honey, even though it's a little bit expensive, 1 spoon is enough to try and turn all that round. So all these factors, guys, are incredibly useful and beneficial for your immune system, especially during times, whether you have it or whether you don't, in terms of picking up, a virus, a cold, anything. Please, it's something that we should be practicing daily, regardless of the surroundings, regardless of what's going on in the global pandemic that we have faced and we are facing. Let's keep that going. Benoit says you need the black pepper to activate the turmeric. Very, very good point. And that's why sometimes we have that, and Terry agrees with that as well. So yes, Pamela, green tea for me or ginger as well, but in terms of foods, what is best to take? Right. Now, one person I had on my show was the brain coach, Jim Quick, if you managed to catch that show. And he was talking about foods that also mimic the organs that we have in our system. So make sure you check that out, because that was very interesting. He was comparing things like wild-caught salmon, and he was comparing things like avocado and nuts and all these type of factors that really help, hit home when it comes to feeling better. And especially something that we've spoken about on the show as well, our relationship with food becomes a lot better when you appreciate what's going on your plate, what the process is, where it's come from, rather than something ready-made and packaged. So just something to think about. Maria also remembers from that show, the walnut is shaped like the brain. There you go. That's when I know someone's actually listening. It's not just me. So guys, 4215 Itasalat or do. Slide into my DMs. Tell me what your remedies are, and I'll share them on the show. And I'll bring them up on the 4th segment. But coming up next, all you football fans have been bantering with me since the results happened this weekend. We're going to be talking about right next, so stay tuned on the only place to be at 3, the Halftime Show on Pulse 95.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri on Pulse 95.
We are back. Thank you so much for tuning in. A lot of stuff to get through today. I'm quite excited, actually, because there's a lot of different faces I'm seeing in the room on Instagram Live. Shout out to everyone who's tuned in on YouTube as well. Thank you very much for the love that you're showing to us. Thank you to EXO as well, who just said now they're in the office. Pamela is there. Fahad is watching me from, I believe, the treadmill. We've got Tariq Tumtum, and we've got Saif all the way from London. I know Florin is a regular all the way from New York. We've got Adil as well from Jersey, Debo from Florida. You know, you guys are making me feel really good today, and I appreciate that. I promise I'll try and make it a great show. Right, okay, football fans, buckle up. Here we go. Yesterday, you know, I had my own training, so I was doing my own training. Shout out to my RBO crew. So I tried to watch the games later. When I come back, I try and ignore my phone. I got back home. I started watching the game between Manchester United and Tottenham as if it was live, meaning that I ignored everyone and tried to watch the game. If you would have told me that Manchester United would get battered 6-1 by Tottenham, I probably would have said that is something that you would only watch on TV. So that was the first part. Having seen that, I did not expect Jose Mourinho to be spot on. In the first couple of minutes, there was a penalty awarded to Manchester United. People forget that Manchester United were 1-up. Then all of a sudden, the madness of what we like to see in sport. Red cards, goals going in, someone grabbing the ball, smashing it in the top corner, and really, you know, scoring a worldie. We got a couple of people who did that this weekend. So that was the first part. Now, a lot of people have jumped on the wheel, so to speak, since Oli had finished third in the Premier League last year. And a lot of people saying how well he's done, and he's got harsh critics. Would he have been there if he wasn't a Manchester United legend? So many things papered the cracks, when in truth, the gulf between Liverpool and the rest was immense. Speaking of Liverpool lost 7-2 to Aston Villa. Listen, I'm a football fan and I'm a student of the game, so I'm someone who's always watching, studying, etc. But if you would have told me those two results, with two of the most expensive defenders in the world in those sides, to concede 13 goals in 2 games is insane. And I know this surprised in the Premier League, and I know that as a coach myself, you know, you always say expect the unexpected, try to forecast what could happen, all the different scenarios, but I definitely did not see that coming. And everyone who watched the games yesterday would probably be thinking the same thing. A foregone conclusion for Liverpool versus Aston Villa. Let's say, even though Tottenham have been invigorated with a few signings, there's been a documentary that was publicised that came out as well. Was that pantomime? Was that real, from Jose Mourinho and All or Nothing? This was something that even when they were 3-1 up, the back of my mind reminded me of when Tottenham were up in a very similar situation against Manchester United, who then conceded 5 goals in the second half to lose the game when David Beckham came on and all sorts of stuff happened. This is something in sport that we cannot predict all the time. Now, had it been someone else, we might say, yeah, it was expected, but especially with, you know, the feel-good factor. Now, one thing, and having spoken to a lot of my friends who are in the game, as players, as coaches, one of the things, especially when you come off a heavy loss or you come off something that, you know, is very, very damaging emotionally, you want to have the next game soon. Maybe not the training session as much, but the next game soon. If you don't have a game, you get back to training, you work with your players, you get the spirits up again. And this is something that even with my Football Friday crew as well, shout out to everyone, if you are watching or if you are checking us out on the YouTube, when you do suffer a defeat, the first thing is to hold yourself accountable, get back on the pitch and work hard. The moment the work ethic is taken away from you, it's the moment we start to neglect a lot of things. So amongst all those, we start off with hard work. Sometimes it's the same players, it's the same people, but it's a different mentality. And that is what needs to be infused straight away as coaches in order to get the best out of, you know, players. Now, Tariq Tumtum says Maguire yesterday was playing for Tottenham and also he didn't come to the pitch. You know, it's very easy to highlight players. Van Dijk didn't have a great game. Maguire didn't have a great game. For me, watching Leeds and Manchester City play, and I've obviously shown my love to my favourite coach in the world, Marcelo Bielsa, for a reason, but also the fact that there's so many small things. Leeds on paper are nowhere near Manchester City. However, the work ethic and everything else that was put forward shows you that this is something that, you know, you can get the best out of the players with who you have. You don't have to sign international superstars. And that's why, as a coach, I take note of all the small things. Focus on what you do have, work to your strengths, and eliminate the weaknesses by trying to protect small factors between pattern plays, between all sorts of things. 4215 Itasalat Urdu. What was the biggest shock of this weekend for you? And what do you think you could have done better? Manchester United fans, Liverpool fans, Manchester City fans, get in touch with me. Let me know. We're going to have a little break coming up now with the Adhan. But once that's done, I'll be right back and we're doing a transfer special. So don't go anywhere. I'll see you soon.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
Wow, we are back. And man, I'm so happy we're back because I've got everyone keeping me like on my toes in the studio. We're talking about so many things. We spoke about the immune system, foods that can help with those remedies. I had some really, really good ones coming in. We spoke about the huge results that happened on this weekend. We've got a transfer deadline special today just because, you know, a lot of football fans are saying it's the last day, you got to give us transfer special. Right, transfer special here. What's been the best transfer for you so far? And are you happy with your team's signings? Now, if we look at a couple of things, here we go. Official Donsa, shout out to my bro. Ghana special, right, okay. We had some cookie love during the break to Nia Saleh, who, bless her. Isa, we have to be coloured or... okay, Isa, I think you're going to be wearing colours today in case you're playing football tonight. So, Ali says James Rodriguez for sure making the EPL look easy. Safe says Gabriel performed good other than James. Spicy says, would you rather sign Ousmane Dembele or Sancho? This is a no-brainer for me, Sancho. Although having lost yesterday, I think it's very clear that I would spend that money on Koulibaly or Upamecano. That's just me. Mustafa, Aston Villa, what is going on? 4 out of 4 remaining. All still. So we got all our people coming in. Tariq Tumtum says Thiago Alcantara. I gotta agree with my bro Tariq Tumtum. He knows what he's talking about. See, you got me in with all this energy going crazy over what's happening with transfer specials. There's been a lot of like overwhelming things. Obviously, Chelsea have made some big signings. Arsenal haven't done that much in terms of but they have let a few people go. Aston Villa. Hey, Aston Villa not getting gassed because they won yesterday. Ollie Watkins from Brentford. 33 million. Is that right or is that a mistake? Did Aston Villa sign Ollie Watkins from 33 million? I do know that Alex Telles and Cavani are doing their medicals right now as we speak. Did Martial deserve red and Lamelo no? It's a good question, Isa. I think they both deserve to either go or both get a yellow card. It wasn't even a slap. It was pretty poor. Emi Martinez. There's one I'm going to throw out there for you guys. The Aston Villa goalkeeper who signed from Arsenal has to be up there as one of the signings. There's no fluke that wherever he goes, he keeps clean sheets. Who else do we have here? We've got Brighton, got Lallana. That was okay. Burnley haven't done much. Chelsea, right. Mendy, Werner, Ziyech, Silva, Chilwell, Sarr, Havertz all came in. Any of those tickle your fancies, guys? Let me know, or girls, let me know which players you think signed, were the best signings. Everton, James Rodriguez, 22 million from Real Madrid. Abdul Doucouré, 20 million from Watford. Ben Godfrey, 20 million from Norwich. You know one that slipped under the radar, guys? I'll tell you one that slipped under the radar. Do you remember Moise Kean at Everton? He's gone to PSG. And you know Choupo-Moting, he's gone to Bayern Munich. And there was a joke about this online. But whoever Choupo-Moting's agent is Jerry Maguire in disguise. Because he's getting some of the most incredible deals for his player, who some of you don't even hold as a household name, which is crazy. Fulham, I feel kind of bad for them. Leeds, signing Rodrigo from Valencia for 27 million. Robin Koch, I'm going to say. Freiburg, undisclosed. Jack Harrison, Man City on loan. Leicester, they bought Wesley Fofana from Saint Etienne for 30 million. Liverpool, Diego Jota, 45. Thiago Alcantara, obviously, in there as well, who came from Bayern Munich for 25 million. A lot of things. Douglas Costa signed on loan for Bayern too. Big signings for Bayern, like they needed anyone. Manchester City's been a bit underwhelming as well. We went from talking about Messi to Ferran Torres and Nathan Ake and Ruben Diaz. I don't know. I think if you saved the money from Ruben Dias and Ake, which probably would have been about 110 million, you probably could have got Koulibaly, which I don't get why that didn't go through. Although they did sell Sané for 54.8 million to Bayern Munich. So that shows, guys, in terms of the transfers coming in, Manchester United fans, are you happy with Donny van der Beek? Does he have a place in you guys, in your team, in your starting lineup? Yeah, I'm not sure. Newcastle did some good business. Shout out to my friend from the morning Majlis, who's probably tuned in right now. Abdul Karim, he must be happy with the business Newcastle made. Callum Wilson, 20 million. Ryan Fraser for free. Jamal Lewis from Norwich, undisclosed. There's been a couple of good signings, for Newcastle as well. So I'm kind of looking at that and thinking, very well done, man. Very, very well done. Good for them that they're doing that. Right, okay, let's wrap this up. Sheffield United, Ryan Brewster, 23.5 million. Leeds are doing well, and Mentor taught his student how to play. That's a good one. Reguilon is doing incredible for his first season in the EPL. I mean, it's been 3 games, Asa, but yeah, okay, I'll give you that. But I think actually one of the things that sometimes we neglect is when a signing comes in, the other players play better. And one thing I will give you, Asa, who's a Tottenham fan, and one of my only friends who's a Tottenham fan, Gareth Bale's signing has elevated the other players to perform, even though he's been injured. I genuinely believe that when a high-profile player like that comes in, the work ethic starts to really increase. Pamela's got a question here. No interesting recent signings for Real Madrid. I was excited for Eden Hazard coming, but he didn't show the best performances so far. Correct, Pamela. And he reports that he came back unfit as well. So that's been quite tough for him. But I think Zidane has a few players up his sleeve, which he will be bringing to Madrid. And I think a certain Kylian Mbappe and maybe a Haaland might be the next big signing for the Galacticos at Madrid. So 4215 Etisalat Urdu, what has been your best signing so far, and do you expect any more deals to happen today, which is the last day of the transfer window? Let us know, 4215 Etisalat Urdu, and I'm going to be answering your questions straight after the break. So make sure you stay tuned in. If you have any questions, shoot them my way. I got one more segment coming up. I can't believe we're almost at full time. See you in a bit, guys.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
Yes, we are back. Shout out to everyone who's tuned in on the Instagram Live and YouTube. And guys, if you do miss the show, head over to the YouTube channel on Pulse 95 Radio. Go to the Halftime Show. Check out some of the great guests I have on there. We have some wicked guests and we talk about some really, really cool topics. Health, fitness, sports, you name it. We try and dig deep further than just the physical aspect, the mental aspect, the emotional aspect. And speaking of that, coming up this Saturday, we've got the World Mental Health Day special, which will be on Pulse 95 Radio at 3 o'clock, 3 to 4. So put that in your diary and head over to our channels and support us, the family here at Pulse 95 with all the great casts we have here. Head over to the YouTube, smash a like on there, subscribe to it, and share it with your friends. Right, we had some very, very good questions. We had Pamela who asked about what foods we can recommend to boost the immune system. Now, most people turn to vitamin C when they've got a cold, okay? It does help with your immune system for sure. Vitamin C is thought to increase the production of white blood cells, which are key to fighting infections. And especially under the current circumstances, that's something that a lot of us are trying to do. So amongst those things, we normally look at things like citrus fruits, which are quite high in vitamin C. Grapefruit, oranges, clementines, lemons, limes, very, very good. Now, we've also got things like red bell peppers, which is very, very good. Broccoli, which is very, very good. You've got garlic as well, probably not for the breath, but very good for the immune system, which is great because, you kind of find garlic quite a lot in different cuisines nowadays. And garlic's immune boosting properties seem to come from a heavy concentration of sulfur containing compounds such as allicin. So that's something to bear in mind. You've got ginger, as I said already. Spinach, wow, you need to have a lot of spinach in there. Yogurt's very good. You got almonds, sunflower seeds, turmeric. We spoke about that earlier today on the show. Green tea, papaya, kiwi. I cannot begin to tell you how good kiwi is for the body. A lot of people sleep on that and not necessarily give it the love it requires. It's something that I would recommend. And you've also got salmon as well. So a lot of good properties in there. Hope that answered your question, Pamela. Now, what's up, Mohammed? Thank you for joining in. Jay, what's good, my man? Great to have you on the Instagram Live. How many days in a week is perfect training? Right, very good question, Zara. Now, when it comes to the training aspect, it's very, very tricky to be able to have one answer for one person. What I can tell you, though, is striking the right balance between training, nutrition, which is fueling the body, recovering as well, is very, very key. Now, obviously, if you've got the history of training in the past and you've trained quite a bit, then you'll have muscle memory. And having the muscle memory, it will be able to give you the indication of how far you can push yourself. But you have to also listen to your body. Now, the way that a female body works is obviously different to a male's body in terms of the menstrual cycle and the way they adapt to certain situations. Saying that, it doesn't mean you can't push harder. You definitely can. The nice thing about that is you're in control. Now, managing things, and we spoke about this earlier as well, like Benoit mentioned, managing things like your breathing is so key in performance. So what I would recommend is to try and give yourself enough time to experiment. Now, I don't mean a week or two, which is normally what we kind of tailor off. I'd say even 6 weeks. 6 weeks to try and measure up to 2 months. See what works for you, but don't make sudden changes. Give it time to absorb and rest and digest. And by doing that, see, I'm even rhyming now. By doing that, it's giving you that feel of what works for you, and slowly start to implement different things in your routine, which you have to map out beforehand. Try not to just go with the flow. Try to give yourself time to recover. Do things that are good, for your brain as well. Sometimes people neglect the power of walking because they say it's not burning calories. But what it does is it clears your mind in order for you to be able to move on and do things, which is good for your system, your gut, your brain. All these different factors are very, very key in training. So I hope that answered your question, Zara. What else do we have here? We've got, high good fat foods are good for the immune system. Yeah, it depends obviously in terms of the fat that we consume within moderation. It's very, very good. And it's also good for using as energy. Did Liverpool lose because Mane was injured? No, Liverpool did not lose because Mane was injured. Something I can tell you for a fact is Liverpool lost because there was a missing spine to the team. If you look at the team normally, you've got Alisson in goal, huge. Distributing from the back is not Adrian's big thing. If anything, Leeds gave the blueprint to Aston Villa to be able to press higher up, to squeeze, and force a mistake, an unforced error as we call it, to be able to cause mistakes. And that's where it came of. And if you notice the goal that started all off, it came from a mistake. So I think it's also a test of character. When you end up facing teams, sometimes you're beaten before you started because you look at the opposition and see these giants. But to have the courage, and I was watching a documentary once, and the Brazilians say coragem, and we always say coragem. Coragem means courage. And having the courage to be able to advance and to do these things, to take a risk, sometimes you get the results. And that's why they lost. It wasn't because of one player. It was because in terms of the spine, you look at people like Alisson, the importance of Van Dijk, the importance of Henderson, and obviously Mane, Salah and Firmino. That is a spine that you look at and wonder how you can't just fit or change things straight away. So regarding your question, Issa, it wasn't because of one player. It was because they weren't functioning as a team. Right. Spicy's got a question for me. Will there be a shock transfer at the end of the... I think there will be, Hassan. I think there will be, for sure. There'll be one big transfer. I'm not sure exactly which club. I think there's people going to panic buy because medicals have to be done and paperwork has to be submitted like ASAP. And that will open up the gates for that. Florin, where you been, man? I just gave you a shout out earlier. Florin is tuning from New York, a very early time in the day. Florin, you missed the show. It's going to be on YouTube. Mario, help Florin out. Get it on YouTube. Gabby, you know the drill. These guys are relying on you guys to get the wicked show we've had today on the YouTube channel. 6-1. Spicy isn't available right now. Nice. Thank you, Zara. Oh my God, I just came back from a 5-mile walk, so it's gully. Funny you're talking about it. Liverpool high line was exploited to death. Very, very true. And this is something, guys, that, in terms of being able to adapt to different approaches is very, very key in any sport, let alone football. I hope that's answered your question. We have reached, hold on, let's put this full-time whistle on. Full time. Thank you so much, everyone who's tuned in. What a show it was. I had fun. I hope you had fun. The energy was fire. I will be back Wednesday, 3 to 4. Put it in your calendar. Set the notifications on once the countdown is on. And let's go, guys. We're going to go again on Wednesday, same time on the only place to be at 3, the halftime show on Pulse 95.
This is Pulse 95.
Halftime.